Hey, welcome to the Overshare Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show. Welcome back. Apologies for not putting out an episode last week, but as I said, I was in Italy, didn't have time for that, but we're back again. It's July now, finally. New month, new aspirations, hopefully, I don't know. Summer it's going by so fast, it's really already it's already July, man. It's already we're already halfway, or more than halfway through the year. So that's wild to me. But yeah, I mean, summer is not over. That's what's important. And not until we get that Sabrina Carpenter album, summer will not be over until we get that. So yeah. But I hope you guys have been okay. I hope you guys have been, planning up some fun activities for the summer. I hope you guys are going somewhere. I hope you guys are, taking some time off, possibly going to the beach, doing something, go have fun because y'all deserve it, It's time to, escape ugly, cityscapes, I guess, and just go to, reconnect with nature, The whole TikTok thing is real. Reconnect with nature for real, for real. Go on a hike, go to the beach, go to a park, go somewhere, go to, reconnect with nature. Do something like that. I'm personally gonna do it at the end of the month. I'm gonna go back to the beach. Hopefully I'm gonna get tanned as fuck. So, watch out for that. Watch out for that. Watch out for that in the sense of go follow me on Instagram right now. Come on. It's not that difficult. My username is in my description of the episode. But also it's easy to find me. It's just Rob Scal, SCAL .jpg. And you can find me there, Easy peasy. That I pulled that plug so we can move forward to today's episode. Today we're getting political. Today we're getting this is probably the first time I ever talk about politics. I want to try and steer away from talking about politics, but I think this moment specifically has been memeable, has been very much, I would say, I mean, it always happens. I think every year the US presidential elections always generate some form of chatter on the internet a lot. Stan Twitter specifically loves a good, presidential debate just to make fun of whoever is running, But this year has been particularly bad. I would say, I've not seen a presidential debate this bad in a long time. This year has been terrible, man. Terrible. And you may say, what's your interest in that? Well, in presidential debates, in the U.S. presidential debates, if you're not even a U.S. citizen. Well, I'm not. But I think, first of all, it's very important to, take a look at what's happening in, the leading countries, if we want to call them that, I guess. But I would venture to say that, part of the reasons why we're experiencing still to this day, a very right-wing trend in politics everywhere in the world, sort of. It has a lot to do with the Trump election, his first term, and everything else. That really riled up the right-wing sentiments everywhere else, especially in Europe, I would say. That was one of the main kickstarters of this downward trend, in my opinion. That was only exacerbated by COVID and everything else. So it was an awful combination, and it's important to look at the US specifically and, other big Western powers to see the trends in general, global politics. And also, surprise, surprise, I'm a politics graduate. So I actually am very interested in politics. If you didn't know that about me. I actually love politics. I love US politics specifically because it's so different from European politics in a way. It's so bipolar in a way, even though it's kind of not anymore. But it used to be even more bipolar back in the days. But now it's more running for the middle. Even though Trump is quite extreme, I would say. But I would say the left-wing parties are still not as left wing as they could be. You know, they're very much trying to like get the middle voter in that sense. Like they're running for center, but either way, I'm gonna be talking about like some of the highlights from the debate, and also putting my 2 cents on what's the current situation, what we can expect, what could be changed, like if anything can be changed, like what could be changed, and also I've read some like interesting articles on like some early feedback from young voters and non-young voters, I guess, like in the US. They've done some like interviews already after the first debate, and it's pretty telling already what's going on. So, but I'll get into that. So, but before we get into the actual topic, you know what's up, songs of the week. So, the songs of the week is gonna be a bit packed here because I haven't done an episode last week. So I have a few that I wanna talk about. First of all, this artist called Summer Cake. I don't know who the fuck she is. Like, she's Korean, 100%. But I've never heard of her. I've discovered her recently, and I've saved multiple songs. But I'm gonna just include one. And if you like it, you can of course go and like listen to more of her songs because she's talented as fuck. The song in question I'm gonna put, I think, is Love Villain out of the three that I really love. But Love Villain is the one that like really, speaks to me the most in a way. It's R&B, but like bubbly, bubblegum R&B in a way, like very fun, very lighthearted, very cool, very usual like K R&B. So yeah, that's really really cool. And I don't know if you guys remember, but in one of my episodes I was talking about Carly Rae Jepsen, and her latest album that came out like what 2 years ago or something. The Love This Time, yeah. And I was saying in that episode that that sound in that album reminded me so much of K-pop. No, it's not K-pop, sorry, K-R&B, but like the girly version or whatever. And this is what I mean. The song specifically as well, Love Villain, could 100% be on that album, that Carly Rae Jepsen album. Like that's the blueprint. That's the genre I'm referring to. Like that's the kind of R&B that's like very popular in K-pop right now. And yeah, you can see the influence also in Western artists. So yeah, but this song, incredible. The chorus, so catchy. The production, I love it. It's very typical K-R&B, but just a good vibe. Very well produced. Her vocals are very unique, I would say. Like she has a very unique vocal tone, so makes her stand out in a way. So yeah, go listen to it. I am adding it right now to the playlist. So that's one. Then let's see if I can skip over these. Yeah. Okay. Next one is Killer by Babe Corner. I already put a song by Babe Corner in the last episode, I think it was. Oh, and it was Corner Babe by Babe Corner. But this one is a Killer from their Killer EP. This song is so vibey, so nice. It's that indie production, kind of like Men I Trust kind of like production. Very vibey, very cool. A lot of like electric guitar, but like not heavy. You know what I mean? Like it's just plucked guitar. Super nice, super mellow. I like this thing that they do, like Babe Corner does in their songs. Like the last, well, the last post, I guess, like it's not really a bridge, but right after the bridge, or right after the last chorus, they do like a very instrumental guitar heavy instrumental, and then they go back to like the intro-ish a bit. It's so good. Listen to it. It's just really really nice. I was listening to this coming back home from a night out, and it was just the chill vibe that you need when you like are at the end of your day, you wanna wind down. It's just a cool vibey mellow song. I love it. Love it. And also the vocals are so interesting. There's a bit of like a haunting vibe in this song as well. The way like they vocally perform on this track, the singer as well. Very cool stuff. So I don't know. I just really love it, and it's 4 minutes, but it doesn't feel like it. Like it goes pretty quickly, but it's 4 minutes long. So have fun. It's a good ride. Now this I think I would have to put two songs from this artist because I just discovered her specifically uh last week I think it was. I can't remember, but went on a tangent and found multiple songs that I liked from her. But there are two tracks that I'm really obsessed with, and the first one is a collaboration with Rilo, which is another artist, but I'm talking specifically about Sabi Sousa. So it's like Sabby Sosa. So it's like Sousa. Never heard of her. She's very hyper pop adjacent, I would say. A bit of a rap influence as well here, like hip hop influence. But Bad Girl Like Me sounds more like a Blackout, Britney Spears Blackout type of song, I guess. Like maybe Break the Ice kind of reminds me of that, I guess. But the chorus is more like hyperpop. Like it's very loud, it's very noisy in a good way. I loved it. That Beggar Like Me is such a good. Both of these songs are like very typical bimbo tracks in a way, and by that I mean like cunty girl, just that energy, like confident boost type of lyrics. But Beggar Like Me, incredible production. Like it's so good. I love a good hyperpop run, and again, like in the verses, the pop influence is so strong. I love it. So good. And the next one from also like done by Sabi Sousa, but it's not a collaboration. It's a solo track. It's called "Spoiled!" Exclamation mark. So that's also in a very similar vein. Very hip hop influence. This one is more like bass heavy in a way. Like it's so good. The production is like so nice. I think this is more like on the hip hop. Actually, this definitely is more hip hop than the other one, but still very hyper pop, still very fun. And then I love the outro to this one. Like I said, like she's always been like Sharpay Evans has always been her greatest inspiration. Fuck Gabriela Montez. She wants it all. So yeah, can relate 100%. Who even likes Gabriela Montez? High School Musical. If you don't know lore, then loser. And also, this song is very short. Like it's 1 minute 38 seconds, but it does the job. It does the job. It's pretty cool. So yeah, go listen to Sabi Sousa. She eats for real. Oh, I wanted to add these ones as well. What if I do? And you know what? What if I do? Okay, first let me. I'll think it over. I'm gonna talk first about this one actually. Lisa Manoban, Thai princess, queen of K-pop, queen of, the world, I guess. She released her first solo song under her own label. So this was a big, big moment. We were all waiting for this. She's the first girly out of the four Blackpink girlies that released a solo track outside of YG. So yeah, expectations were like high, and then like of course we were all rooting for this to do well. And I'm surprised to say that is actually quite the interesting track. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this also sounds very hyperpop influence. It seems like hyperpop is like really becoming mainstream recently, so I'm here for it because that's one of my favorite genres ever. But yeah, Rockstar is like, so it's quite a dynamic song. It doesn't really have like a typical pop formula. That's also why like I'm putting it in like a hyperpop space in a way. Starts off with the chorus immediately, and then goes into like a little verse, and then goes into like the second. I don't know how to explain it. It's not really a bridge, but it's like I guess it's like a, well, because it is repeated in the bridge. Like it's the same thing as the bridge, but it's done before the first verse, and then after the first verse and after the second verse. So I guess it's like sort of like a repeated bridge. I'm not really sure, but it's very cool. Like it's very the bridge is very R&B, very actually Tame Impala as well. A bit of an influence there I can see, but then the verses and like the chorus and everything else is very like hyperpop, very fast paced. Um, the rap incredible. She eats the bars. There, she's so quick with it. I love it. Um, so that's another great point to the song. The video so cool. I love specifically the last part of the video. I know like the most of the shots are like taken in Thailand, I think. But the last part when she's like in that white room that like looks almost like a spaceship situation, she looks incredible. Like her outfit, the hair and makeup, everything. Like the fit, the her moves as well, the way it's shot. It just looks so good. I also love the scene where like she's surrounded by like so many Thai dancers. It's just so cool. Um, yeah, just really loved the entire thing. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. At first, I was like skeptical when I first heard the song for the first time, but then I keep on replaying it. Oh, also listen to the extended version because the outro in the extended version is just blissful. It adds that little bit of a sauce. I think the normal version is just very short, 2 minutes and 18, and it does feel quite short. But if you listen to the extended version, it feels, in my opinion, more like holistic. Let's just say. But yeah, I mean, just incredible stuff. I'm very excited about that. I hope she has an album, a mini album in store for us. I really hope so. Um, excited to find out what she does next. So, and I've also seen the girlies supporting her, like Jenny and Rosie. So, and Jenny supposedly is also gearing up for a release in her own label as well. So, excited to find out. Excited to find out what's gonna happen next. You know what? I was referring to another track that I wanted to put in, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that personally. There's a lady. How many did I put? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's quite a few. You know what? I'll save for later. I'll save for another episode maybe. If I really become obsessed with it again, I'll probably talk about this track next episode. But yeah. So these are songs for this week. You can find them, of course, in my playlist on Spotify. I do one each month for all the songs of the week for that month. So go check it out if you want. Yeah, so let's get into the actual real topic. So, September, we're getting, of course, the new national elections in the US, presidential elections. And the first presidential debate happened this past Thursday. And the two I'm going to say probable runner-ups are, of course, Trump and Joe Biden. And as I was saying in my intro, this was probably one of the most disappointing and, probably one of the worst presidential debates in U.S. history. I'm not talking specifically about. Well, I think a bit of everything was actually very bad because you have very, like, clearly two very unfit runner-ups for the presidency. Like, on one hand, we have a very loud, very boastful, very much, controversial to say the least. He has charges against him. He was arrested multiple times. You know them. You know what's up. So many scandals regarding his like extramarital affairs and all this stuff. Plenty of weird thing going on there, but that's Trump, of course. That's pretty well known, I guess, at this point. So we have that, who's also, by the way, he's 78 right now, I believe. So keep the age in mind. He's 78. And then, on the other hand, we have, frankly, one of the worst candidates in the Democratic Party's history ever, Joe Biden. And I'm specifically referring to, apart from like, I think is the mixed views on what he has achieved in his 4 year mandate. I think now more than ever it's clear that he's like way past his age. Like he already wasn't doing that great of a job to begin with, I think, but now it's pretty clear that it's like not mentally there anymore. Like he's 81, he's quite old, and I think you can see specifically from this debate that he's not mentally fit anymore to do this job. Let's just put it that way. So you have a very loud person, which is Trump, and then you have this muted, very subdued, very frankly looking very tired. Like a man who looks very, very tired. Honestly, at this point, like he wants. It looks like he needs, to just step out and take a big break. And that's Joe Biden, unfortunately. So the Democrats have decided to put him as the front runner, even though there's been some chatter that they might want to swap out Biden with another runner-up specifically after this debate, because the reviews were terrible. Like the impressions were crazy bad. So yeah, two very weird candidates, I would say, because I mean they're both super old, super white, and frankly, while I was looking, because I watched the debate, or at least not the entire thing, but I watched some of it, and then I started getting so many like I went on Twitter and I saw so many of the jokes that were thrown out both of them, and my first impression was, how did we get here? Like how do we have, like, I was watching this and I was like, this has to be a simulation. Like I'm looking at two geriatric runner-ups, like two old bitches, literally two old bold I don't want to be too mean, but I mean nothing against them specifically, but I think the parties, like literally, if this is the best that they can offer, then we're screwed. Like the whole world is screwed, because these cannot be the two like most appealing runner-ups that you have in your own parties. This cannot be the truth. This is like insane. Yeah, so it felt like a simulation. It was more like watching two old people arguing about whatever, like their own beef or whatever they have going on between them. Like it didn't feel like a real presidential debate. It was crazy. It was frankly quite sad also to see, like, just I don't know, the state of U.S. politics is just honestly quite astonishing. So yeah, like I told my friends also that it looked more like a challenge, or like competition between who's gonna like kick the bucket first. Like you're clearly looking at two people who are very at the very end of their own careers, both of them. I don't think if either of them get elected, I don't think they're gonna do a great job in 4 years. They're clearly very old. They have exhausted every single little will that they have, and it's clear that they don't really care about the presidency per se in that sense. It's more like they're both trying to get reelected in a way, and they're like just shooting their last shot at this, because I think neither of them are gonna rerun again. I don't think they will, depending on how this goes as well, but I think this is their last effort at getting power again. They don't really care about I think the presidency itself. They just want to run for the spot, get that money, and get out of here. But I mean, so that's already under later. Like it definitely seems like it's hard to empathize with either of them, because they are so old. They've already been through it, and they clearly seem like they're not really interested in like what they're doing. So it's hard to care for them, and it's hard to believe that they actually care for the country. So that's what I'm saying. You need to put more young people in politics to connect, first of all, with the voters, I think, because yes, there is a lot of old people in the US, but there's also a huge pool of like young voters that want to be represented by someone who's not specifically closer to their age, but also like I think mindset wise, they're more interested in the youth and the future of the country, the long term, and just in general, like they're more up to date with what are the real issues in the current state of the country. So I don't think either of these two men are aware of what's going on. Personally, they're like the first debate also was quite clear how they both really are living in a different world from us. Like they had a bit of a debate about golf. They were like going at each other about golf. How like Trump was trying to play this card of like he was trying to put down Biden and elevating himself as being still very energetic and vigorous, and his health is in like is still his top priority. He's still looking good despite being 78 and all this stuff. And I have to say, dude, you do not. Yes, he was more like aggressive, energetic in the way he was doing, his little speeches and everything else. But compared to Biden, of course, like the comparison is like very sharp in that sense. But either way, I think they both seem very tired, very old, like regardless. And I don't know. I feel like it's a very bad combo because Trump, of course, was just going on tangents. He was not really replying to questions, and he was not really like answering, what the moderator was asking him. Typical. So that really, I don't know. If I were like a voter, I would be like, oh, so he doesn't really actually care about anything that's been asked. He just wants to like do his own thing, show off, be aggressive, whatever. So that's one. It's clear that he doesn't really have a plan on what he wants to do in his presidency if he gets elected. So that's one. On the other hand, you have Biden, who is like very squeamish and very tired, and he was slurring a lot. He wasn't really clear. He stumbled on words multiple times. He was very like he allegedly had a cold or something. He was speaking in a very soft and like subdued voice as well. So he didn't really exude confidence. He seemed like he didn't know what he was talking about sometimes as well. So you had very two extremes and very two bad examples of what a person should not be. So yeah. Very weird. Like I'm telling you, it felt like watching a fucking simulation. Like it seemed like both of them were not like interesting in doing shit. They were just there. They were not ready for a debate at all. They just went after each other and it was just really, really bad. So yeah. Maybe some of the highlights, we can talk about that. I would say one of them was, of course, the abortion topic. Trump was, of course, making baseless accusations, saying that he was trying, of course, to like impress the public or like the right wing voters by saying, alleging that the Democrats have been allowing late term abortions and like ripping babies out of mothers' wombs when they were like and 9 months into their pregnancies and all that stuff. So clearly not true. First of all, if you look at the stats and everything else, like for example, I think less than 1%. I think I saw it on one of the Al Jazeera articles that less than 1% of the abortions were performed at or after 21 weeks in 2020. So where are all these like late abortions? What are we talking about? Like, come on. And it's just scary. Like at this point, this has been a recurring topic in his politics that he doesn't really care about like women's bodies at all. Like bodily autonomy is just not a thing for him, especially when it comes to women. Like he embodies, of course, those very archaic and conservative stances on women's bodily autonomy, and like he wants to ban abortion once again. It's just same old, just pulling false accusations, and it was just very weird to see. Biden kind of managed to push back in that sense, but yeah, very, very depressing, honestly. Then he also went on to immigration. I think that's another girl, I almost fell. My keys. Um, See, that's the Biden and Trump effect on me. It makes me quake. It makes me quiver. But immigration was another one, I think, that was very interesting. Immigration also has been like a topical debate point, I would say. Even during the Trump, presidency in his first term, it was quite the hot topic. But Trump was saying that, was accusing Democrats for allowing, borders to be too penetrable in that sense, and like they've let in terrorists and prisoners, and they've opened the gates for criminals to get into the country and all that stuff. And of course, Biden brought back, started talking about how the usual wall thing. And I would say, like, personally, I think Biden actually had some very conservative approaches to immigration during his presidency. Hot take, I don't know, but like when he was passing, for example, the bipartisan national security agreement, or he tried to, that was very conservative in my opinion. Like, it looked a lot like a Republican policy. Like, the bipartisan agreement was basically, it was trying to tighten the borders in exchange for like foreign aid. So, for example, for Ukrainian and Israeli immigrants who were trying to get to the country, it was trying to like control immigration by tightening the influx in exchange of like promising foreign aid into their own countries. So instead of like allowing people in, he was saying, no, you guys stay in your own country, and we are gonna help you out with investments and all that stuff. So very weird policy, like, that screams Republican to me, but whatever. So I don't know, even Trump, was he actually looking at what he was doing or not? I don't even know. He's speaking out his ass, because that's straight up from the Republican book. So whatever. And then I would say another really interesting, probably the most interesting part, was when I talk about Palestine and Israel, and how basically Trump attacked Biden by saying that he's a Palestinian, and a really bad one. That's what he said, I think. A bad Palestinian as well. What did he say? I think, yeah. He said, like, you have become like a Palestinian, a very bad Palestinian, a weak one. That's what he was saying. That he should have let Israel carry on with the war, and he should have let it. That was so bad. Actually, let me see. Yeah. He said that that Israel wants to continue with the war, and the Biden should have just let them go and finish the job. And he says that Biden doesn't want to do it. And that's when he says then he's becoming like a Palestinian, right? That he empathizes with the Hamas, which is so fucking annoying. Like, I don't even know what to say in this situation, because it's just plain clear that if Trump gets elected, for example, he's gonna lead into just mass extermination, basically. Like, he doesn't care about shit. He doesn't care about humanitarian rights, of course. He never did. His moral values are like in the gutter, and we can only expect the worst. He himself, I think, introduced the topic of third world war with in this part of the debate. So the fact that this is already on his mind, to me, is like very scary and very very, very bad. Like, if you think that Biden already fucked it up in Israel by allowing all this to happen, and just supporting Israel, and frankly giving two shits about Palestinian people and children that are getting killed as well, just wait until Trump gets to the presidency, and he's gonna fuck us over even more. So just scary times. That's really depressing. I would say that's probably the most flat out depressing part of the debate. Yeah, so I'm really scared of like what's gonna happen if Trump gets elected, and to see what he's gonna do next. I think he also was talking about you know, just not specifically wanting to involve himself, but just, provide even more support to Israel and let them go on with the war. And like Biden, it took him 8 months into the war to actually like start considering a ceasefire. But I think with Trump gets elected, the ceasefire is not going to be an option on the table at all. He just wants to like let them do whatever they want. Like he's not even interested in like conflicts that are not straight up U.S. related in that sense. Like it does not involve actually the U.S. as a nation in that sense. So he just wants to let them carry on, and that's it. And yeah, I think dark times are ahead of us. So I don't know. I think it's you can draw your own conclusions. Of course, this is a very touchy subject, so you guys, you know, can believe whatever you believe, but I will not, I would not be very hopeful when it comes to like, either way, even if Biden gets reelected, I don't think he's going to do much because he hasn't done much anyways in that sense. But if you put it on a plate, if Trump gets elected, things are going to get even worse, if that's even possible. You know what I mean? So he clearly does not have any interest in upholding life above everything else. He just wants his little, like, I think he's mostly talking to just appeal to extreme xenophobic people, and frankly, maybe it might work for him. He might get elected because of that, but it's just crazy to me. Like, we're letting this man speak about something that is just so tragic, and he clearly has no interest in defending, basic human rights. He just wants to just, protect his home country and just let war loose, I guess, in a way. So whatever. I'm gonna brush over this because it's just too depressing. But yeah, yeah. So before we actually conclude the topic, I just wanted to I read some of the voters' feedback in a way, and by reading them, like for example, the clear takeaway, I think they've interviewed, BBC has interviewed like people from all over the US, different different ages and different backgrounds as well. I think the main consensus is that out of this first debate, Biden has lost a lot of faith. Well, sorry, people have lost a lot of faith in Biden, but Biden has lost a lot of like favor, and people are questioning his age. They've always questioned his age, to be fair, but I think right now it's like even more clear. And some people are still gonna vote Democrats just because it's like the least problematic choice in a way. Like it has come to the point where like you either vote a criminal or you vote someone who's like very unfit to rule because of his age and his health and everything else as well. So yeah, there's of course a lot of people, like especially like Republican voting women in their late 50s who are still supporting Trump because of the abortion rights and all that stuff. That's scary as well. And actually, what is mostly interesting, I think, is to look at the independent voters. I think there was one person specifically was interviewed here that said I think he put the 2 cents on this whole situation pretty clearly and pretty neatly. He said like Trump is old, he's an old psychopathic liar who is running solely to keep himself out of jail and will say literally anything he can to protect himself. That's a read, first of all, period. But also he says Biden is old, feeble, and out of touch with his constituency, and it's also that's also a real read. Like he's so right for that. Cannot really blame him. So that's the big ouchie. And then he says like there was an interesting part. What is that? Yeah, he said like he's undecided at this point. He's going to wait and see what happens. A lot of things could change between now and November, which is true. You gotta have to wait. He said that he would like a candidate that he can get behind a vote for rather than vote against somebody. So he's saying basically like I don't want to vote Biden just because I want to vote against Trump. You know what I mean? You want someone who's more interested in doing the job than getting reelected again, which is probably what we like. What would be expected of any candidate. You know what I mean at this point? But we're here stuck with these two people. But yeah. He also says a fair point is like neither Trump or Biden are young. I don't know whether one of them can hold up to 4 years of being president. And the fact that both of them were up there arguing about their golf game tells me that they're more interested in other things than running a country, which is true. Yeah, I mean, pretty problematic. I think the right wing people who are still planning to vote on Trump are just running up against what Biden has not done or like has undone, and they're very concerned about immigration policies and basically a lot of frankly disturbing things about the Palestinian war, while people are still supporting Biden are supporting him just because they don't want to support Trump, which is quite sad. So, but there's been some chatter online and like in the Democrats pipelines, I guess, that they may like they've seen, of course, this feedback and they've been very scared now, and they're planning to maybe swap out Biden. Is not confirmed. We don't know that, but it can happen, of course, because technically these two people, like Biden and Trump, are not technically the final runner-ups. They can be, I mean, they've been put forward as that, but they can also be swapped around last minute. And I would personally consider doing that, specifically for Biden, because this is not really like looking good. He looks frankly not up for the job, and I'm not talking about like specifically politics here, but also health wise, it doesn't seem like he's there mentally at all. So that's my only advice. Like I would bring in someone who's like a bit more in touch. I think the first like the reason why they brought him as the front runner in the first instance again was because he's so like skewing central in a way, like going to the middle voter. Like he's so not democratic in a way sometimes. In like he's a Democrat, of course, but he's a more like center leaning Democrat, and that's what I think the Democrats want to get more voters in a way. But I don't care. Like, can we go back to like the real position? Bring someone who's like actively interested in like providing an alternative to the country. Someone who's like actually fighting back against Republican ideologies. So yeah, that's why I would say like try and maybe find someone like I would honestly prefer having someone a different runner up for the Democrats. Someone who's more energetic, more Unfortunately, they've done a really bad job at marketing any other person. Like they've only stuck with Biden because he's already out there. People already know him, but they should have marketed someone else, and they should have started doing that way before this. So I'm a little afraid it might be too late to also swap someone else for Biden. But at this point, what's left is just an old man who's not mentally like in a right position to do anything at this point. So yikes. But either way, I hope these elections are actually gonna surprise us and not have Trump get reelected again. I really hope so, but one can dream. One can only dream. I think, unfortunately, if things stay this way, I think Trump has more chances of winning than Biden, of course. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping I can get surprised a bit. I hope we can have a little nice surprise and have a change of pace, hopefully. But either way, stay healthy. Enjoy July this month. Hopefully it's gonna be a bit more interesting. There's a lot coming out in terms of movies and all that stuff, so I'm very excited about that personally. Might do some like movie reviews soon-ish. Who knows? I'm going to the movies a lot, so I might, to be fair. If I see something that really like speaks to me, I might talk it on the podcast. But apart from that, I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. Just enjoy everything and keep on slaying and keep on being positive. And if you're listening from the US, please do not vote for Trump. I'm begging you, even if it comes to voting old mommy, like a very old muppet. Just go for it. Please don't have that man get reelected. Please, 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 please don't prove them right. Have a great one. Bye.